For the longest time, they really only talked about Goldie Roger and the Pirate King's crew once they became the Pirate King's crew, and that has changed recently in Wano. I'll be honest here, they're focusing on the pirate crew before they actually became the Pirate King crew, and we saw in the recent episodes. It's a fun watch, guys, and it's a fun read in the manga as well, and I'm super excited to see more of Roger before he became Pirate King, because his story is, look at the story of Luffy becoming Pirate King. It's 1,000 episodes in and we've been loving it. So imagine seeing Roger's story from start to finish, and we all know that starts 52 years ago. Yes, it's a very long time ago. There's a reason why Soul King Brook said, I think I remember about a rookie by the name of Roger. Such a funny moment by Brook. But I do want to say this. The way that Roger started to get highlight before becoming Pirate King was episode 0, in my personal opinion. Episode 0 highlighted Shiki, and they had to talk about the Ed War, and a very significant war, because that war would change a lot of things in the path. Every single time there's a war, it changes a lot of things, which of course we find out in later episodes. Of course, there's Rayleigh looking at Luffy, seeing that Straw Hat. Just think about Roger 52 years ago asking him to join his crew. Such an amazing moment with that signature Straw Hat, saying Luffy is definitely worthy of wearing it. And I do want to say this. Having Odin flashback and his highlight and how he's been with the Whitebeard Pirates and the Roger Pirates, the two greatest pirate crews at the time, just makes you really think, man, like, I want to see Roger in his East Blue days. When I say East Blue days, I don't mean him actually in the East Blue. I mean like how Luffy in his East Blue days was his early days and the beginning of the Grand Line. I want to see Roger in those times when he's an early pirate and going through that struggle that Luffy has went through. So definitely Goldie Roger is the GOAT, but I'm trying to see before he became GOAT. I want a Last Dance like for Goldie Roger. You guys all know that Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary. I want something like that for Goldie Roger. A movie, a new anime, something. But definitely want to say Roger's story is definitely giving me chills as I see it in the anime, guys. But you know what else gives me chills, guys? When you guys hit that subscribe button. We recently hit 85k subscribers. We're 15k subscribers away from 100k, and that definitely gives me chills. Of course, we'll try to get this video to 1,000 likes for the Pirate King's crew, and turn on notifications, because I got a very spooky video on Luffy coming soon. It's one of my most better videos, so definitely want to turn on notifications. Now, of course, I'm going to talk about something that happened over 70 years ago before I hit that 52 years ago mark, and that's Goldie Roger being born. He was born on the island of Loguetown. Loguetown is a very significant island because Luffy has actually been to that island. He almost got executed at the island, and that's the island he left before going to the Grand Line. And of course, all the Straw Hats told their dreams. Such an amazing arc, honestly. I love Loguetown. But I do want to say this. Roger being born in Loguetown pretty much confirms that he didn't spend much time in the East Blue when he was a pirate, because once he became a pirate, the easiest thing to do is just go straight to the Grand Line, because Loguetown is right beside the Grand Line. I do want to say this. Roger probably met Crocus before he actually recruited Crocus to join his crew. That's what I personally think, honestly. But I do want to say this. The 52 years ago is when he truly got his first crew member, and that was Rayleigh, Silver's Rayleigh. And Silver's Rayleigh might have been from the East Blue, or he might have been from early in the Grand Line, an island very early in the Grand Line. For all we know, Silver's Rayleigh might even be connected to the Crocus somehow. I'm not too sure, but I do want to say this. 52 years ago is when the journey starts, the journey begins. And Luffy and Zoro started their journey. Roger and Rayleigh started their journey, and I'll be honest here, the humble beginnings always make a great journey. Now, I do want to say this. One of the more confusing moments, in my personal opinion, happens around like at least 40 years ago, because it's kind of insinuating that Goldie Roger snuck into Big Mom's territory and stole the royal poneglyph. Big Mom even says herself that Roger, using the voice of all things, was able to take the royal poneglyph. And I'll be honest here, when it comes to Roger doing that, like Big Mom, we all know she's part of the Rock's crew, but the Rock's crew wasn't formed at this time particularly. Like, that's what we're seeing. So it looks like Big Mama had her own crew, Whole Cake Island and all that, and then she joined the Rock's crew 38 years ago, and of course that's when the big fight happened. So I want to say this: nearly 40 years ago, Roger took the royal poneglyph, and Roger definitely was scheming it. He definitely wanted to reach Raftel. So 12 years after becoming a pirate, Roger was definitely getting things done, and probably Scopper Gaban was there during these days, and they're just like the monster trio in a sense. Roger, Rayleigh, and Gaban, gold, silver, copper, like those guys were going crazy. Probably, and that's what makes me excited to see, like, seeing moments of the Roger Pirates in Big Mom's territory would be so cool to see when they're humble beginnings. Now, 39 years ago, I always mention this, and people always get confused when I say this. Yes, the Goldie Roger and his pirate crew reached the final island 39 years ago. But when I say final island, I don't mean the actual final island in Raftel. I mean the final island before Raftel, where you cannot use royal poneglyphs, like the island where it just follow the log posts is Lodestar is that island, and then once you reach Lodestar, there's no way you can actually go to Raftel unless you have the road poneglyphs. So the Roger Pirates actually conquered the Grand Line pretty early, but they just had one final missing piece. Of course, this definitely makes you think how they did it so early, and what did they find out in this time they found Lodestar. That just definitely makes you think a lot of questions, honestly, because the next year, that's when things get crazy. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. Yes, 38 years ago, Gold D. Roger, Monkey D. Garp fought Rox D. Zabek, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Shiki, Captain John, Wang Ji, Silver Axe, just a bunch of monsters, with the Rocks Pirates fighting the Roger Pirates and Monkey D. Garp, the hero of the Marines. Now, I do want to say this, don't get it twisted, guys. Roger definitely had Rayleigh and Gaban helping him out big time in this war. That's why I think Rayleigh and Gaban are legends. Garp has already said that Rayleigh's a legend. I think Gaban is also a legend. I think the fact that I think yes, the Rocks Pirates had Rocks, a Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Shiki. Like, those guys are definitely crazy. All became captains and legendary captains. Even Kaido, he's an apprentice, but he became a legendary captain. But I definitely feel like the Roger Pirates nearly 40 years ago, exactly 38 years ago to this day, had definitely Rayleigh and Gaban, who were like, yes, it's crazy to say they could actually fight with guys like Big Mom and of course Shiki, like, and stuff like that, and like that could completely destroyed. I think Roger's crew was just different, guys. Now, of course, we all know the famous thing that happened 27 years ago, at least 11 years later after the Rocks War on God Valley, in which I do want to say this, the fact that the Roger Pirates were on God Valley, that definitely connects to Raftel, my personal opinion. But 27 years ago, we all know that Crocus was recruited by Roger because he got an illness and he needed a doctor. So of course they went to Reverse Mountain, they got Crocus, and Crocus and Roger's relationship is so funny. Them fighting is hilarious. And the fight with Shiki, a lot of people like to downplay this fight with Shiki, the Ed War, but Shiki's talking about an ancient weapon that Roger has. That is huge. An ancient weapon, like, could he have used his ancient weapon in the Rocks battle? Like, honestly, Roger having the ancient weapon is extremely interesting. And of course, that egg on the ship, there's so many things interesting about the Ed War, and the fact that a crazy storm and Shiki, like, whole fleet got destroyed. Oh man, like, a lot of people even think that Monkey Dragon was there in the Ed War. I'm not too sure, but definitely want to say weather changing, Roger Pirates being outnumbered. Yeah, this war was definitely different. I think there's so many things we can find out just by seeing Roger's journey. Then there's 26 years ago, and this is when the crazy battle happened. The world's strongest man versus the greatest pirate of all time. Gold D. Roger versus Whitebeard. Yes, it's crazy because these guys seemed to be equals in their prime and had the two highest bounties. And the thing is, Whitebeard was under Rocks, Roger's greatest foe. So a lot of interesting things you could think about. But at the end of the day, this clash with them not even touching. We saw it recently in the anime. They weren't even touching their blades. And the Conqueror's haki was insane. Man, oh man. Of course, Roger took the W because he got Kozuki Oden, Whitebeard's little brother. But this battle, there was really no L or W, honestly, because they were just that close, equal in power, guys. Roger and Whitebeard, like, they were a top notch above everyone else, no competition. Though 25 years ago is when the significant things happened. That's when Roger and his crew went to Raftel. That's when they find the One Piece treasure. That's when they find about the Willie D and the Void Sentry and Joy Boy's treasure, and laughing at Joy Boy, his journey, and Roger saying he wished he lived in Joy Boy's time, the Void Sentry. What I'm trying to say is 25 years ago, Kozuki Oden even gets chills. Like, what happened 25 years ago, the Roger Pirates all laughing at Raftel. Yeah, I can only imagine what they have witnessed, what they have seen, what they have learned, guys. So definitely want to say the Roger Pirates are too early, but the Straw Pirates will be just on time. And that's what's going to be even an epic, more incredible moment when the Straw Pirates go to Raftel, because things will be getting done after they get to Raftel, where the Roger Pirates got to Raftel and they were too early. So 25 years ago, it's crazy how it took him at least around 27 to like 28 years of him being a pirate to get to the great moment of being called the Pirate King. Now, of course, I can't talk about Gold D. Roger in his early days 52 years ago and go through his whole journey and what we know about Roger without talking about Loguetown, because that's where he started and that's where he ends. 24 years ago, Roger died in Loguetown, where it all started. And he started the Great Pirate Era. You want my treasure? Go and find it. I all left it in one place, yo. He left it in one piece. Like, one piece greatness, guys. Like, honestly, the story we all been following for years on years. The story that started over 2 decades ago. Roger started. In the first ever chapter, it's Roger. In the first ever episode, it's Roger talking about his treasure. Like, honestly, it's straight hype 24 years ago. And, like, Roger was just a legendary character when he first started seeing the series. But now, knowing all these things, like, honestly, Roger is, like, a actual character, guys. So, I know, like, people are like, super excited to see the flashback of Roger, but, like, because seeing Odin's flashback and just seeing a little bit of Whitebeard and Roger, man, oh man, imagine when we see Roger, because we're going to see Roger versus Rocks, we're going to see Roger versus Shiki, we're going to see Roger versus Big Mom, we're going to see Roger versus Whitebeard, all in full in depth. Man, oh man, the hype is really, that's a straight W in my personal opinion. And One Piece doesn't miss, guys. It doesn't miss having like a character of Roger's status who's been dead for how many years? Like, he's been dead for 24 years and we're still excited, guys. That's how you know Ichiroda doesn't miss. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Goldie Roger and him entering, of course, the Grand Line. I love reading you guys' comments and seeing you guys support. We're so close to 100K subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Like and share if you enjoyed. Like and share only if you enjoyed. And subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the Legend Mac, and I'm gone.